Hello everyone, I am Nakshatra Gupta, Principal Lead at Salesforce. Today, we are taking a walkthrough on a crucial security update coming to Salesforce in early September 2025. Whether you are an admin, developer, or architect, this affects how your users connect to Salesforce and how you can keep everything secure. So starting in September 2025, Salesforce will restrict the use of uninstalled connected app. This restriction will block the end users from using these uninstalled connected apps. From September 2, 2025, users will not be able to connect to Salesforce via DataLoader using OAuth 2.0 device flow method. That is, Salesforce will remove supporting OAuth 2.0 device flow method from DataLoader from this day. So on the screen, presenting you the Salesforce official documentation regarding how to prepare for the connected app usage restriction change and a documentation around DataLoader OAuth 2.0 device flow removal. So we will see each one of these. But before we see, we need to understand why exactly Salesforce is doing this. So Salesforce is responding to the social engineering threats and under the shared responsibility, providing the default protection while still encouraging customers to adopt to the best practices. So this blog is a 5-minute read. I'll drop the link in the description of the video. Please go through it. In this session, we'll see what exactly is changing, who will be affected, what permissions are introduced, what you need to do as an admin, developer, architect, or an end user. So before we start, let us understand how a third-party application integrates with Salesforce. So on the screen, there is a picture, an image you can see. So consider these all different applications trying to connect to Salesforce. So how it is achieved? It is achieved by the usage of connected app. Now connected app acts like a bridge between Salesforce and third-party application. Imagine you want Google or Slack or any other company's internal application to connect to Salesforce, access the Salesforce data. So you as an admin needs to build a secure gate for the restricted entry. That gate is known as connected app. So connected app, as highlighted on the screen, acts as a framework that enables an external application to integrate with Salesforce using API and standard protocols. Now the connected app can either be installed into your organization or can be installed but still be usable in your organization to access the data. So any app that is actually added in your organization is known as installed connected app, and any app that exists or pre-built in some different Salesforce organization, but it is actively used in your organization and still remain uninstalled is known as installed connected app. So under the connected app OAuth usage, we can see if an connected app is installed or uninstalled in the organization. So say, for example, an application connected name called DataLoader Partner, we see under the section of action a button with the name uninstall, which means this DataLoader Partner is actually installed into this organization. To double check, we can come under the Manage Connected App and we see an icon right to it, left to it. And if we see this icon, it means it is installed into our organization. There are other apps which does not have this icon, which means these connected apps are built in this organization. Now coming to the uninstalled connected app. So you will see multiple apps, say for example, the Postman Connect. There is a button right to it under the action. It says install, which means this is being utilized by one of our user, but it is not installed by any of the admin into the organization. So if I click on it, I can see which user used or consumed this application. So the initial connection was made on this date and the last use date was January 14. So this particular app is not installed into my organization, but still individuals are using it by self-authorizing it. So I hope you are clear with what exactly is the connected app and how to differentiate between an installed and uninstalled connected app. Why this bifurcation is very crucial? Because starting in early September 2025, Salesforce will be restricting the use of these uninstalled connected app, and the restrictions will block the end users from utilizing them to access Salesforce. All right. We just learned that a connected app is like a secure gate that lets the outside application talk to the Salesforce. But now the question is, when an outside application comes to the gate, how does it proves who it is and get the access to the Salesforce? So that's where OAuth comes into picture, and there are multiple OAuth flows that acts as a handshake rule or the rule of entry at the gate. So on the screen, I am presenting multiple OAuth flows. On the left-hand side, we see a section where all the OAuth flows are listed. In a gist, to tell how OAuth exactly works, so the client app will request the access saying, hey, Salesforce, can I get this data? Along saying, hey, Salesforce, can I get this data? The client app will pass on multiple parameters like client ID, redirect URI, response type, and scope. The authorization server then issues the token. The resource server will validate that token, and then after validation, the Salesforce allows or denies the access. Each OAuth flows offer a different process for approving access to this client app. Now the main focus for today would be the OAuth 2.0 device flow. So why the main focus would be on the OAuth 2.0 device flow? Because September 2, 2025, users will not be able to use Salesforce, will not be able to use this flow to connect to Salesforce via DataLoader. So here is that reference article, which officially given by Salesforce, documenting that DataLoader OAuth 2.0 device flow will be removed, and the date would be from September 2, 2025. So here on screen is an official article by Salesforce on how exactly OAuth 2.0 device flow works. There is also an awesome trailhead module which tells about its working. So basically, this OAuth 2.0 device flow will be utilized mostly in the devices which have limited input or display capabilities, such as smart TV, where we can configure such connected app with the OAuth 2.0 device flow. So before we see any demo, I just wanted to give an high level view on how exactly this flow works. So consider an client with an application which has limited user interface and limited capacity of entering the data like username, password, and consuming over 2.0 device flow for authentication. So this client app will make a post to an authorization server URL with an client ID. Now the authorization server will respond back to the client with the details like verification URL, user code, device code, interval, expires in. Now, this verification URL is something which will be displayed either on the screen or would be sent to a device as a prompt or a message Now, this verification URL will be consumed by the user, the end user, on their handheld device. They click on that verification URL and enter the verification code, which is again the user code they will enter, and click on submit. Once the user submit, they will be prompted again to enter the username and password to authenticate. After adding the details like username and password, once the end user clicks on login, the application will ask to allow access. Now, as soon as the end user allows or deny, in the meanwhile, the client keeps polling the authorization server. And once it is allowed, the authorization server issues an access and refresh token to the client app. And this is how the OAuth 2.0 device authorization flow works. So there is an official documentation as well about how 2.0 device authorization grant work. If interested, I'll drop the link. We can also go through this documentation to better understand the minute details to this flow. Now I'll walk you through with a demo on how exactly it works. So we have created a connected app. I'll show that connected app first. The name of the app is Demo Connected App. Now for any application to use the device flow or OAuth 2.0 device flow, we need to definitely check this checkbox, enable for device flow. Once it is checked, we ensure that we can utilize the device flow or 2.0 device flow. Now, as stated in this particular flow diagram, the client, here in this case is the postman, is requesting the authorization server and making a post call to the authorization server URL with the client ID. And the response type again would be the device code, which we need for the further steps. So I'm making this call, and here is the client ID for the connected app which I created, and clicking on send. Now you see, you observe that we received a user code, a device code, a verification URI, and the interval. Now, what we need to do is we need to use this link to authenticate, or like in this diagram, when the authorization server has provided these details to the client should show us the verification URL, and we will utilize a different browser or different handheld device to just grant the access. In the meantime, the application is polling the authorization server for the access or refresh token. Okay, so I'll make a call. So as soon as I clicked on the link, or I opened the link into the different device, it asks me the 8-digit code that I observed on the device or the app. So currently my client or the device is Postman. Let me get this user code and enter it here on the screen and click on connect. I was already logged in into this particular browser. So it, instead of prompting me on the username and password, took the session and now asking me to allow the access. So if you are not already logged in, a login screen will appear. And if you are already logged in, it will take the session. And if you click on allow, This is when it says your device or app is now connected. You click on continue. You can normally work, or if you want to log out, you can log it out. Now, say for example, once I have made a connection, I use the same device code. I go to this, I again make a post call. I give this code and again hit this token link. I get the access token out of it. Now this access token can be consumed to make any call. Again, we will see the instance URL. I'll change the instance URL and let's try to send and make a GET request. You see, we got the list. We got the output for it. Say, for example, let me get the details for this account. So we got the details for this account. So this is how OAuth 2.0 device flow works. Similarly, the motive of this particular demo was to show how exactly in Postman we can replicate the OAuth 2.0 device flow, while at the same time we will see how it exactly works in the data loader. So I have a data loader opened. Now, very important thing to check here is that data loader will give us 3 ways to log in. What all are the 3 ways? It is number one, password authentication. Second is OAuth 2.0 device flow, the one which we saw. The third, OAuth 2.0 user agent flow. So from September 2, 2025 this year, OAuth 2.0 device flow is something which Salesforce will stop supporting in data loader. Now, how exactly, say for example, if I try to make an export option, I see 2 options, OAuth and password authentication. But at the same time, while telling you, I told that data loader allows users to authenticate using 3 mechanisms: password, OAuth device, and OAuth user agent. So how exactly we make or differentiate our flows, because we only see OAuth on the UI. So how to do it? How to make sure that which flow we are using? We go to the settings. Now in the settings, if enable OAuth login from browser is checked, I repeat, if enable OAuth login from browser is checked, then the data loader will use OAuth 2.0 device flow. If it is unchecked, it will use OAuth 2.0 user agent flow. My motive is to show you how exactly the data loader will use OAuth 2.0 device flow. So I'll keep it checked. Let's click on export. Now, when that setting is checked, this OAuth will make a OAuth 2.0 device flow call only. I click on login. As soon as I click on login, you see, we observe an interface from the same data loader app which says use this login link. So let me copy it. So if we make an analogy from the flow, we request it with the client ID, that is again the data loader connected app, and a verification URL or a connection URL with all these details were provided to the client app, which is the data loader. Now the data loader is saying and giving us the steps on what to do. step 1, step 2, step 3. So let me complete these steps again on the UI. So I'll click on connect. So it is prompting me to give username and password. So I'm giving the username and password. Let me review it. What exactly is the issue? Let me copy it and open a new browser. Bring it here. Connect. So again, I am already logged in into this organization. So it asked me to allow the access. I clicked on allow. It says your device or app is now connected. I click on continue. Again, I go back on the data loader screen. I see I can now fetch, say for example, if I wanted to fetch and extract the account, I can do so. And that is how I can utilize the data loader connected app to complete the function. So this is the one way on how we utilized OAuth 2.0 device flow. But say for example, I don't want to use it. What I need to do, I need to uncheck this setting. Enable OAuth login from the browser, click OK. Now say for example, again, the same setting, if I log in, you will see I will be prompted for putting the username and password. It is no longer a device flow that is into the picture. So I provided the username and password. I clicked allow. Now you'll see it gave me the interface to perform any action. So this is how changing the settings will change which OAuth flow it consumes. Log out. So this is how we saw how the data loader was utilizing this OAuth 2.0 device flow and how the setting exactly enable OAuth in the browser. So this setting is also discussed in this particular official documentation, and it speaks about if the enable OAuth login from browser checkbox specific which flow to use. If it is selected, OAuth 2.0 device flow is used. If it is deselected, OAuth 2.0 user agent flow will be used. Now the first change again as quoting, Salesforce will be removing the support in the auto install data loader for OAuth 2.0 device flow from September 2025. Now users of data loader with version 53 or later will no longer be able to authenticate using this device flow. So what would be the resolution to it? Either before September 2025, Salesforce will be releasing a new version of data loader that will remove the support of OAuth device flow or 2.0 device flow. we can download it, and now we can utilize the OAuth user agent flow or the password authentication to log in. If we have not downloaded the latest version, we need to make sure the setting which I showed. So the setting would be present, but if you try to run it keeping it checked, it won't allow you to log in because it will be prohibited by Salesforce. Enable OAuth. So by default, for your old data loader, if you have not upgraded it to the latest version, if you keep this checked, it won't allow you to log in. So either you need to make the configuration to keep it unchecked. For now, I have kept it checked, but again, after September 2, if you're trying to use the same version, you need to keep it unchecked or utilize the password authentication. This is the first change. A very important thing to note is that there will be no exceptions or extensions to this removal. So Salesforce clearly documented it that there will be no exceptions or extensions to this removal. So I request all the admins who go through this article or go through this session, make sure you prepare yourself, communicate to the users and users utilizing or consuming data loader that this is an update that will be live from September 2, 2025. Now, a second change, which again initially I gave the gist on. Starting early September, Salesforce will be blocking the end users from using the uninstalled connected app. What again are uninstalled connected app? The apps which are not installed but are being utilized in the organization. So any of such connections will be blocked by Salesforce in the early September. The date again will be reflected in the article. Keep on refreshing the article and you will see the dates as and when Salesforce uh, updates the article. But again, there are few exceptions to it. Say, for example, if a user who has already authorized the app before the change and that app is not using a device flow. I repeat, a user already authorized the app before the change and that app is not using the device flow. So in this situation, it will keep on working and the users will not see any issues. It won't be blocked. Again, say for example, if a new user who has never authenticated, never authorized that app and try to utilize the uninstalled app to log in or access to the Salesforce, they will be blocked. So I'll take an example of two users, A and B. Say for example, A is an old user who already had logged in and authorized the app before the change, that is before the date or before the early September 2025. They can still use the app only if that app is not using a device flow. If that app used device flow, even though you have already before the change have authorized it, you will be blocked and you won't be able to log in or access using that app. The second use case will be a new users will be blocked, which is a user B who is a new user and has never authorized using that uninstalled app. So the moment after the change they will try to do it, the user B will be blocked. So these are the two exceptions, which is again listed in the article. Now, some of the highly trusted users like admin who have the profile system administrator can still use uninstalled connected app because Salesforce will offer them a special permission. The name of the permission is approve uninstalled connected app. So this permission by default will be provided to the standard system admin profile. And with this permission in place, for testing purpose, or at any moment they wanted to consume or utilize the uninstalled connected app for accessing Salesforce, the administrator can do it. Now, there is one crucial thing that I wanted to highlight. There might be multiple orgs with API access control on. So in that use case, we need to use any API client permission to give access to the installed app. So again, your organization will have both of this permission, but if the API access control is enabled, consume this permission to use uninstalled connected app. And if the API access control isn't enabled, the trusted user can use this app if they have approve uninstalled connected app permission. Now, again, very crucial, this permission is very powerful. It should only be given to admin or someone who is trusted and wanted to test the connected app. Again, I wanted to highlight the permission is very powerful, only to give to the trusted users. By design, by default, the new permission will be automatically given to the standard system admin profile. Now, please make a note of it. Custom profiles, which even are cloned from system admin, won't get this permission by default. We need to, or a system admin needs to explicitly give if their business use case allows. And it should only be given to the trusted users. As said many times, it bypasses the restriction and allows them to use the uninstalled apps. Now, how exactly this error will look like to an end user? Say, for example, if the API is enabled, API access control is enabled, and this permission is not being given to the end user. So the end user will start seeing the error, and the error will be OAuth app blocked. So this particular snippet of the documentation tells if API access control is enabled, end users are redirected to the callback URL, also known as redirect URI, configured in the OAuth setting. The error is reflected in the URL as OAuth app blocked with the description this app is blocked by admin. In the same case, if API access control isn't enabled and we don't have the permission approve uninstalled connected app to the user, user will see invalid grant, app must be installed into the org. So this is how an end user will see. But again, before September, we need to prepare for this change, and then system admin should communicate this to the users, like this is a change coming. And again, why it is coming, it is again the security, enhancing the security into the Salesforce. The admin should review the current connected app usage. So how the admin will review the current connected app usage? So they can click on this user count. Number one, they need to see what all apps are uninstalled and how many users are using it. What is the frequency of the users using it? Now the admin should categorize them as trusted apps or untrusted app. If it is trusted, the administrator should install it to avoid any disruption. If it is untrusted, they can block them. Again, there is always an option to give the permissions to the users. Uh, Say, for example, if they are trusted with the specific permissions as per the org, if it is API access control enabled or not. And those users with the permissions can use the uninstalled connected app, again, which are not blocked, and they can use those uninstalled connected app to access the Salesforce. So this is again the most crucial update, the two updates that are coming in. And you will see that on every help article, you will see that Salesforce is populating a banner to prepare for the change to the connected app and data loader. So I hope that now you have a clear understanding on the update. And that's all today from my side on this session. Thank you for watching this session, everyone.